So in order for me to end my pornography addiction, I had to figure out the root cause. Why I had to figure out why I was going back to pornography, why I kept watching it, why I kept using pornography as a way to suppress my trauma. I had to figure out what's making me go back. You know, it all stems from a root cause, a root issue in my life. It all stems back from my childhood. What am I feeling that's making me go back? That keeps making me commit the act of watching porn. I had to keep digging down deeper. What's going on, guys, man? This is Mr. Solo Dolo coming back with another video, man. Welcome back to the channel. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. So y'all see the title of the video. Now, I have not been very honest with y'all, with my subscribers. And on this channel, I don't cap. I don't want to keep nothing from y'all. I want to remain as authentic as possible. And I want to speak my truth on this channel, on this platform. Because I feel like this is the only platform that I can really speak my truth and I can be really authentic without being judged. Now, I went 90 days with no pornography. 90 days, no pornography. I completed 90 days. Now it's over 90 days, close to 100 days. No pornography. Pornography has been something that I've been struggling with for a very long time, dating back to my teenage years. Now, this is going to kind of like, tie into a story time or whatnot. My own personal story, my own experience. I've dealt with pornography since I was a teenager. Addicted to pornography for about 8 to 9 years. 8 to 9 years. I dealt with this addiction, and I've told nobody. I've never made it. I never took the initiative to really open myself up to anybody about that truth, about my addiction. Because what I felt was shame. What I felt was guilt. Now, this is going to be a little personal. One thing I never did, all the years I've been addicted to artificial stimulation, because that's what I call it. It's artificial stimulation. See, pornography has a strange way of changing the networking of your brain. It fries the hell out of your brain. It desensitizes. The content is desensitized to your brain. So you're always going to be programmed to get off to it, be aroused off of two people having sex. Because once you desensitize your brain to that type of material, to that explicit content, you can never get enough of it. Now, here's the thing about pornography that a lot of people are not aware of. You're not actually, for me anyways, I was never even aroused off of the idea of seeing two people have sex, right? I was always aroused off of the high that it was giving my subconscious mind, the high that I was getting from it, a spark of dopamine rush that ultimately led to a bunch of relapses in the past. And I never actually masturbated to porn. That's the weird thing. All the times I was aroused off of pornography, the adult film industry, I never had the incentive to masturbate. Not once. The funny thing is, I don't touch myself like that. I don't. I used to when I was a little bit younger. my teenage years, specifically my teenage years. A certain situation happened to me when I was around 12 years old, but I'm not going to get into that right now. It's for a different video altogether. But I never actually touched myself when it came to viewing pornography because I knew it was wrong. I knew it was dirty. I knew it was wrong for me to do that. I knew that in the back of my mind that I'm committing some type of like sin here. Like it feels like it. It's like I didn't even have to masturbate in order to feel that guilt and that shame just by watching it. Just by viewing the content that I was seeing was enough to make me feel guilty and ashamed. It was enough for me to feel like I'm a failure in a sense. And evidently, a lot of factors and elements came into the reason why I watched a lot of pornography. A lot of factors came into play that provoked me to view that type of material on my phone or laptop. Because deep down, at a point in my life, I was lost. I was in a real dark season in my life. And we're not talking about just a short season, we're talking about a long season. Like, we're talking about automatically after high school. Because after high school, that's when I really hit my depression. Depression hit me hard because I was going through a lot. I lost a lot of family members around that time period, lost a lot of friends. Back when I considered friendships a big deal, around that point, around that period, I felt like I was losing a lot. And I felt like I was attached to too many things at that point in time. And when I lost certain people and I lost certain things, I didn't know how to handle it. I guess you can say I was not that mature enough to handle certain setbacks of life, handle certain people leaving my life and people dying, gone from this earth. And there is nobody around me at that point in time that can pick me up, that could have picked me up when I was down and I hit rock bottom hard. And I just remember always feeling like shit, like there's no hope, completely directionless, no direction, no purpose. I had nothing going for me at that point in time. And then all I can remember is numbing the pain with pornography. That was my only escape. No drugs, no alcohol. Well, alcohol on occasion, but never heavy alcohol. Weed here and there, smoke. I smoked a little bit, but that was a phase. This was an addiction. This was a real addiction that I could not get rid of for 8 to 9 years. And every time I felt that pain, I felt depressed. When I was in my depression stages, I used pornography as a way to numb it, to suppress all these emotions, all this depression that I was dealing with at that point in time. That was my only escape. And then when I had times of I can't even talk right now. My bad, y'all. Of ejaculation. When I had times of ejaculation and then watching porn, a relapse. This is way before when I first started semen retention. Way before. When I first even knew about what semen retention even meant, right? I relapsed a bunch of times, felt like shit. I felt good in a moment, but then after a couple minutes, that feeling came back. That feeling of darkness came back up on me. All my problems came back to me. All my issues, all my trauma, it came back. It's like, hello, here I am again. You can't forget about me, right? But you see, what I was doing was I was copping out. I was being a little bitch. I was being a little bitch at that point in time in my life. I was being a coward. I was running away from my issues. I was running away from my trauma instead of facing it like a man. At that point, around 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, maybe early 2019, I didn't know how to handle my issues like a real person. So I kept running away. I kept suppressing it with more pornography viewing, more porn, more hardcore shit, more extreme shit. You know what I'm saying? And it just got to a point, okay, this is really an addiction that I need to end. I need to find a way to break this addiction systematically. It's not going to happen overnight, but I need to start making the change now. I need to make that first step now before it completely ruins my life. And before it completely ruins my chances of meeting women, mating with other women. It was definitely affecting my chances of communicating towards women. And I wondered why I had all these issues, why I had all this social anxiety, why I had all this depression, why I faced so much fatigue. You know what I'm saying? I faced so much challenges in my life. Or I was attracting certain issues, problems into my life because my energy was trash. My energy was trash, y'all. I'm gonna tell you right now. It was just trash. I had no energy most of the time. I was fatigued, tired, sleeping up to 1 o'clock in the afternoon and shit, going to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, sleeping the entire fucking day. You know what I'm saying? Completely unmotivated, no drive, no hunger, no passion, none of that shit. I had no determination. The person I was in 2018, 17, 16, 15 is not the person that you see today in this video. The man that you see right now, that is not who exists anymore. That person is gone. And I can promise you that. That person is gone. Because I did whatever I could do. I worked my ass off. Self-improved like a motherfucker to get rid of that old me. That lower version of myself. I did whatever I can do. And I'm still working. I'm still working on that. I'm still excelling. I'm still leveling up in my life. And y'all been seeing the progression in my attitude, my face, my skin. Before then, before I was like really addicted, I had no guts, I had no, ambition. I didn't have the balls to put myself on camera and to be making a video like this. I couldn't be on camera at that point in time because of all the shame and guilt that I was going through. And it was just an endless cycle of depression, anxiety. I feel bad. I feel like shit. I feel like nobody likes me. Nobody loves me. I felt a lot of unlove. I felt a lot of dark energy. So what did I do? I went back to what really created all this shit to begin with. What created my downfall in the first place. I went back to what was causing all these issues in my life. And it was just a loop, a pattern that I was trying to break, but I couldn't break it because I didn't have the intelligence. I didn't have the mindset to break it. I didn't have the incentive to break it because I was comfortable. It felt good to me. But one thing y'all can never do is suppress your pain. You can never suppress your pain, suppress all your emotions, all your trauma. You need to face that shit. You need to face all your trauma. Because if you don't face your trauma will kick your ass, bro. Your trauma will come back to haunt you. It's always going to keep following you wherever you go in life. You can pick up that bottle. You can smoke that blunt. You can take perks. You can watch a lot of pornography all you want. You can masturbate every fucking day. You can have sex with all these females all you want. But at the end of the day, man, at the end of the day, you suppressing all that trauma, suppressing all your issues and your problems, you're never going to completely solve the problem. You're never going to fully get over it. And it's just going to keep adding up. Adding up. It's going to keep on becoming a problem in your life if you don't face it right now. If you don't face your trauma, if you don't face all your problems right now, it will ruin your life. I had to completely withdraw myself in order to figure out how can I overcome this addiction. And it's not going to happen overnight. It had to happen systematically. I had to come up with a plan. I had to do a lot of shadow work. So in order for me to end my pornography addiction, I had to figure out the root cause. Why I had to figure out why I was going back to pornography, why I kept watching it, why I kept using pornography as a way to suppress my trauma. I had to figure out what's making me go back. You know, it all stems from a root cause, a root issue in my life. It all stems back from my childhood. What am I feeling that's making me go back? That keeps making me commit the act of watching porn. I had to keep digging down deeper to find that root issue. I had to keep digging deeper and doing a lot of shadow work to find out what was causing me to keep watching porn. I did a lot of journaling this year. I did a lot of watching videos, you know, watching a course, whatever, reading books, just understanding how my mind is working, how my mind is processing, how does it process pornography, and what stages my mind goes through before I watch pornography, before I get that arousal, or when I get that arousal initially, what stages are taking place in my brain that's going to lead up to watching porn. So I had to do a lot of this, man. I had to really figure out all the root causes. Systematically and strategically, I had to beat this addiction. Willpower was not going to do it. Willpower was never going to be enough. I realized I had to keep praying. I realized I had to pray to eliminate the spirit of lust from my body, from my mind. Pray to God, to Yahweh, to get rid of lust. To get rid of this lustful feeling inside that's caused me to feel this way. That's caused me to want to get my rocks off. And back in April, I said I had enough. You know, in April, I finally had enough. You know, there have been times where I'll go a week without watching porn. All right? There have been times where I would go a month, 30 days without watching porn. Sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then after the time that I took a break, you know, I stopped watching, I will go back. I'll go back. I'll go back. I will go back. Repeatedly. I'll go 5 days, abstain, keep coming back. But around April, the end of April, I'd finally had enough. I said, you know what? I'm done with this shit. I'm done feeling this way. I'm done having having this control my life. Okay, I'm finally done feeling this way. And I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Now I'm finna just completely get rid of my porn addiction forever. Get porn out of my mind, out of my subconscious mind, reprogram myself, and desensitize my brain to other more important things in my life. So I finally did the work. So to wrap this video up, man, the last 90 days was one of the hardest 90 days of my life. I had times where I did want to relapse, that I kept having all these urges. I knew these urges are temporary, but how can I turn these urges, how can I turn this temptation into fuel, maximize my sexual energy to my advantage, to work out, to eat better, to work on a new skill, to work on my purpose and accomplish my goals. I had to really sexually transmutate all this pent up energy that was filling up, and I had to direct it into my goals, now my purpose, into my whole life. It was the hardest 90 days of my life because for so long I was so used to watching inexplicit content that was causing instant dopamine rushes. It was my comfort. It was what I kept going back to every time I felt like shit. Every time I felt depressed. Every time I kept feeling bad. When I had a bad day, I always used pornography as a way to escape. Like a shoulder to lean on. But it wasn't healthy. It wasn't mentally healthy. It was doing a lot of damage to my mental health long term. I had to eliminate this bug from my life, this parasite from my life, so I can move on, so I can see better days without pornography, so I can live a life that doesn't have pornography in it, to where I can achieve the best version of myself without having to go to pornography every time I feel bad, every time I feel like shit, every time I have these feelings of doubt and fear and shame. And redirect all this energy into my life. Because it took a lot for me to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Because I decided to man up, and I decided to face this demon in my life. I have fought all other demons in my life, but this is the one demon that I had to really face. I had to beat. I had to face directly and say, you know what? I'm not going to let you take over my life. I'm not going to let you have power over me. I have control of my life. I had to finally say, no urge, no temptation can override my subconscious mind. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. It tells you in the Bible, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And in the form of pornography, that was a weapon, an artificial weapon to enslave you into your sexual perverted thoughts. And I was a slave to that for a long time. For a long time, I was a slave to that. But you know what? I said no more. The past 90 days was proof of that. Because now I have a clear mind. Now I have a clear conscience. Yes, did I have times where I want to quit? Yeah, of course. Of course. Everything that's hard for you to give up is never going to be easy. It's never going to be easy for you to quit. The things that were so comfortable in your life, That's now a compulsionary habit. It's never going to be easy to give up. But you know what, man? The hardest things in life for you to do are the best things for you to do at the end of the day, in the long run. So with that being said, man, that this is only the beginning of my journey. I had to beat this final boss of my life, and that was only the starting point. That was only the starting point. And honestly, bro, this is probably the hardest video that I've ever had to make. The hardest video I ever had to make in my entire life, because this is me speaking my truth. This is me opening up to my addiction. And I know going forward that I'm going to have a lot of challenges. I'm going to have a lot of times where I'm going to want to relapse. But I just think about what my future looks like, the future that I envision for myself, what that's going to look like without porn. And I keep holding on to that vision. I keep holding on to that future, to that best version of myself, because I have to attain it. You know what? It's never about the destination. It's about the journey. The journey is the destination for me. The journey is the destination. So, with that being said, man, I spoke my truth. I hope y'all just know that any addiction that you are going through right now, you are capable of breaking that addiction. You are capable of overcoming that addiction. Any addiction that remains a constant in your life, you are a slave to that. Whether it's alcohol, drugs, pornography. For so long, I was a slave to pornography, mentally enslaved. But I had to break that mental pattern. I had to break that cycle in my subconscious mind. I had to change up the pattern. I had to change up the programming. For 90 days, I did it for 90 days, bro. 90 days. Right? So I'm going to wrap up this video for real this time, because this was the hardest video for me to make. This was not easy for me to just go on camera and just tell y'all my business about my addiction. Not like this. Not like this. So I was being very honest, very truthful. But I want to share my experience. I want to share my story for anybody else that went through the same addiction that I went through. That's going through the same issues that I went through. And I want to share my experience and hopefully change someone else's, or at least help somebody end their own addiction when it comes to pornography or any other addiction that they may be facing right now. Right? I just want to be that beacon of hope for anybody that's watching this video, that's struggling, that's going through a hard time right now. Beating addiction. You can beat that shit. You have to be able to face your demons head on, because the only way you're ever going to defeat them is if you face them head on. You can never defeat an addiction by running away from it. You can never run away from an addiction, because the more you run away from it, the more it's going to catch up to you. It will keep catching up to you. Understand, pornography is the demon. Understand, it's the devil. It's the devil's weapon forming against you to keep you enslaved mentally. Pornography, it's an artificial weapon to trap you into thinking what's going on a computer screen is really real. Listen, in real life, people get raped. People get molested. There's a such thing as child pornography. And you know what? Those children that are doing pornography, those kids could possibly be getting molested and raped. You could be potentially watching rape taking place right in front of you. Whether a woman is getting raped or a child. You never know what the hell you are watching, what you are programming your mind to. And I understand it's something that feels good in the moment, but it's never going to feel good long term. It never will. It never will. So just know addiction can be beat. It's beatable. But you have to make the effort to beat it. You have to make that change, and you got to get off your ass and stop making excuses and stop feeling sorry for yourself and stop playing the victim. Get off your ass. Find that strength. Find that fire in you that can defeat that demon that's causing you to keep being addicted to whatever you're addicted to, and overcome it.